You're right, lads, this is the Jody Jedi here, giving you my opinions of some of the more recent transfers and news that is going on right now. For example, Callum Chambers is supposedly, although it's not 100% definitive complete, if you know what I mean, 11 million to Arsenal. Too much, 19-year-old. Now don't get me wrong, right back, probably a future England right back in my opinion. He's quite frankly could have brought him instead of Kyle Walker to the World Cup, or Glenn Johnson for that matter. But the point is far too much for a 19-year-old. Luke Shaw was fair enough, kind of. I still thought it was far too much money for Luke Shaw as well for Man U. But the point was Luke Shaw played in the World Cup, played well. One of the best left backs in the country, even despite his young age. So, you could argue that one. Callum Chambers had great games for Southampton, and he had very good games. And at 19, played just amazingly well for a 19-year-old. But 11 million, and Arsenal, why the hell do Arsenal want them? They just bought Debussy. So you can imagine this is a little bit of a kick in the balls for us Newcastle fans. It's like, we've got Debussy, we've got your best right back, probably one of the best right backs in the English Premier League. So now we're going to find a replacement. Now don't get me wrong, I don't think Debussy will stay at Arsenal very long, maybe a year or two. But the point is that they've bought a replacement for Debussy before Debussy's even played for them. So this is annoying. 11 million as well. Bloody hell, we should have bought him. I wouldn't really want him just yet in a year or two. But then again, in a year or two, he'll be worth tons, hopefully, if he gets his way. Next transfer update: Dejan Lovren to Liverpool for 20 million. What the hell is Southampton doing? They're selling everyone. They're holding out for, as of recently, I think about 20 million for Morgan Schneiderlin, when I think it's Tottenham and Liverpool want him as well. Why the hell are they selling everybody? Now don't get me wrong, this is what happens when you don't get Champions League football, but you're a very good team. Because the problem is that all the players want Champions League football, but they've got to move elsewhere to get it. This is the weird thing, they've got 5 or 6 players, maybe even more, who were good enough for Champions League football, but for some reason the team never came together that well. It also doesn't help they've sold Pochettino, so quite frankly it's not only did we not make it into the Champions League, but we're not going to make it either. So why the hell they're still selling players? I can understand why they want to go. They want Champions League football. Lovren wants Champions League football. Shaw wants Champions League football. Not that he's getting it where he's going, but you get me point. They're all off to bigger, better teams because their team they're at, even though they have the players to do it, they're not getting Champions League football. But a very good buy for Liverpool on Liverpool's side of things. A very good buy if they can get him. I think he's set for his medical as of when I've recorded this. So his medical's coming up. He should pass it, which is a little bit ironic. I'll get onto that a little bit later. So very good player, good buy for them. 20 million is a pretty decent price for him as well. Southampton are getting a good deal, but if they're not going to bring anybody else in, then what the hell are they going to do? What are they doing? Why won't Southampton buy anybody? I know they are bringing 1 or 2 players in, but the point is you sell Lovren for 20 million, you expect either a player who's a little bit less quality but younger for about the same price. Is in a perfect world is what you want, but no, not happening. I can see Southampton going down this year unless they genuinely do invest all that money that they should have by now. So now overall there's a few transfer dealings. Di Maria in particular to Man U is something that's coming up more and more, because I think Di Maria is getting somewhat pushed out of Real Madrid in a sense, out of the first team. So I know Man U in particular are interested in him. There's Arturo Vidal as well. He's meant to be kind of coming to Man U, if you know what I mean. He's not quite medical yet, but Obviously, still talking like these are rumours. These are, you know, not 100%. Now, for probably the funniest thing, certainly of the transfer updates today, well, certainly of today. Now, within about maybe half an hour of my recording this, got news that Lovren Remy has failed his medical at Liverpool, which is damn right hilarious for Newcastle fans, because he rejected us twice to go to a bigger club, and the bigger club has rejected him. 16.5 million, I think, was what he was going to go to Liverpool for. Kind of worth it, to be honest, the kind of player he is. If he had people like Johan Kabay through the second half of the season, probably would have been a 20+ goal scorer. So valuation's got no problem with me, that's perfectly fine. But he got rejected. It's just funny. It's hilarious. Well, not hilarious, but you know, it's funny because he rejects us twice. And when you consider how we're doing now, you know, he's going back to QPR. Quite frankly, if another team doesn't get him, he'll be staying there. Which, I mean, is fairly obvious. But I mean, you know, apart from Liverpool, there's no bigger team that'll want him. Arsenal have already kind of moved on from him. I mean, they could still get him. But, you know, it was big news that right at the start of the transfer window that Lovren Remy was going to Arsenal, and it didn't happen. I'd say he's going back to QPR. If we don't get him, not that I want him anymore. He's a little bit too old. You know, if we get him, fair enough, good. But quite frankly, 16.5 million is too much. His wages are too much as well. But he's going back to QPR. Liverpool aren't going to have him. Now, do we want him? Well, we'll look at a couple of things. First of all, we do generally quite let quite a few people in who fail their medicals at other clubs. Demba Ba failed his medical at another club before he joined us. That worked out very well. You know, Demba Ba was an amazing striker. He scored loads of goals for in a relatively short time. Then we have Sylvain Marvel, failed his medical at Liverpool before we pounced and got him. That, I wouldn't say failed so much, because quite frankly he was an alright player. There were quite a few people who were calling for him to play first team football. In the season when we finished 16th, you know, there were quite a few people saying bring him on, you know, at least he has some creativity. It didn't happen. But, you know, now he's on season long loan to Guamp or some weird team like that. French team, I know it is, but the name suggests Guamp. So, anyways, I'll finish up here. There'll be quite a few other transfer updates. I hope to do these every now and again, especially for the big news. This has been the Geordie Jedi. Leave a like if you can, it really helps. Subscribe if you want. I'll put a link in the description below for you. May the force be with you.